I hit the wrong button. So we have part 2, GMO Tuesday part 2. It's Cannabis Corner. We'll separate it out today, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Cannabis Corner today, sponsored by Jason Lang, Johnny's Tendergrass. Get a hold of him. And don't forget, Terry Butler contributed today. Terry Butler, are you in regulatory compliance? Do you have a marijuana grow operation or something? Check it out. He's got it state by state over there. Link is in the description. As I was saying, tetrahydrocannabinol. When I was a kid, I thought it was a fish. I thought it was a fish because tetras are a family of fish. And that's known as THC. That's one of the active, an active psychoactive ingredient is what they call it. Cannabis oil is the other, CBD. That is the other product that is used for pain and stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences in those today. And I want to go back to something Mr. Trump said yesterday. He said, farm country is God's country. Genesis chapter 1, verse 11. For God put forth grass, an herb yielding seed, trees, what was it? Trees with the fruit, bearing their likeness or something like that. It made me wonder about what kind of fruit trees we got in San Francisco, bearing their kind. That's what it was. Fruit trees bearing their kind. Come on. You know what? Harvey Milk laughed at that. Stop. But many people in the Bible interpret that verse in the Bible as a form of some kind of marijuana because hemp and marijuana are both a type of grass. They fall into a cannabis genus. You have sativa indica, and now we have some hybrids and stuff like that. But here is the big difference. The chemical makeups of THC and CBD, they're the same. However, they don't have the same elements. They don't have the same reaction in the human body. Of course, everybody has different reactions to this stuff. So it's up to you, and I'm going to say this before I go any further. If this is something for you, you discuss it with your doctor. He'll lay a plan out, and I'm going to tell you something. This grill doesn't belong to me. I paid $10,000 for it. And when I talked to the dentist, he was going to give me a bunch of opiate pain pills, and I said, "You're the doctor. Is marijuana cool to smoke?" He goes, "It's safer than this. Go ahead and do that." So I didn't get that prescription. You guys all know last year I broke my back. I was in a brace for how long? 4 months? You saw it. I shattered a vertebrae and lost 3/4 of an inch in height because of that. And now I do not stand completely upright anymore because that bone healed in a triangular formation. But they gave me like 30 some odd pills the first day. 6 pills for 4 days. They gave me 5 days worth of medicine. So I had, and one every 4 hours. That's 6 a day. So I had 30 pills. And it was the Tylenol 3s. It was that very bad, serious codeine, the strongest codeine that they have. And I went back to the doctor, and I still had half the bottle left. And I said, "Hey, doc," I said, "you're the doctor." I said, and this guy's a neurosurgeon. And he tells me, I tell him, I said, "Doc," I said, I have addiction issues here. I don't really want, I just have an issue with this stuff because of it, the side effects and everything, And I actually thought I had my brace on too tight. And I asked him, I said, I get these terrible cramps. I got the brace on too tight. And he goes, "That's the constipation from the opiates." I went, forgot about that side effect, So the side effects of the chemical compounds are just unbelievable. And when you deal with cannabis, comes from the ground. And that's why people say, they talk about it in the Bible. Now, I want to tell you, here's something I found out today. There are 400 active chemicals in cannabis. 400. There's no other plant on the planet that produces that many naturally. It's one of the easiest plants to grow. It grows like a weed. Why do you think they call it a weed? But both hemp and cannabis are in the same genus, hence, look at reefer madness and all that stuff. That's how they made it illegal, because hemp was a threat to big business, pecuniary greed. It was also a threat to the paper industry. and the medical industry. They can't sell the chemicals, and we'll get to some of that stuff in just a minute, the difference. But hemp now is raised fiber, clothing, sails on boats, rope, okay? Of course, DuPont has nylon rope. That was one of the deals. We also, in the medical end of it, okay, in the medical end of marijuana now, you have something going on. And because marijuana is so easy to manipulate, there is a big concern, a huge concern. You know me, sustainable agriculture, let's go organic. I have people calling me all the time, hey, how can I make dirt to make my plant do this? If you want to trigger something, you adjust nitrogen levels, you adjust magnesium or potassium levels in the soil. How do you do that? Bone meal, bat guano, poop, organic matter. And that's what's going on. Because, and especially you heard the special report on Cannabis Corner about how all the chemicals, people are being fined millions of dollars because they're using banned and illegal chemicals and herbicides and pesticides. So there is a huge push to go organic on this and not the high volume of chemical feeds and stuff like that. But THC, while the chemical compound of THC and CBD are basically the same, that's as far as the comparison goes. After that, they are no longer the same, except they come from the same plant. Amazing enough. One, THC, which is what is the effective drug, is this, they call it psychoactive. Psychoactive. I think I bet we all know, have psychoactive in our life, whether we smoke marijuana or not, huh? We all, come on. We all do. We all have a favorite psychoactive that we keep in the corner somewhere, just so we have fun. But it's classified as a psychoactive, hence a hallucinogen, hence that's how it was so easy to get put on the Schedule 1. And in the article, I talk about Thomas, I'm drawing a blank, Thomas Cromwell or something like that. But because Nixon didn't like John Lennon, hated his guts, that's why Nixon never took it off of Schedule 1. It was recommended to come off Schedule 1 back in the 70s. It needs to come off the Schedule 1 now. It needs, I've said it for years. If you put it on the market, tax it, regulate it, make it decent for everybody, well, go a long way in balancing the budgets. But the medical stuff is highly versatile. Now, both of these compounds are reacted with heat. And you smoke it, you put it in the bong. Is smoking marijuana safe? Is it good for your lungs? Let's be real, at 1,800 degrees, you're sucking into your lungs. Why do you think water pipes are such a big selling item in that industry? It cools that smoke off. But what do you do when you smoke marijuana? It's like a cigarette. Well, you blow it right back out. When you're doing marijuana, you see the people doing all that and they suck it real deep into their lungs. Common sense. What do I always say? A skosh, itty bitty tiny skosh of common sense will tell you. Again, talk to your doctor. Is this a way to go? The opioids and my neurosurgeon says that's better for you than the opioids. Okay? That's what he told me. I asked him, Doc, you're the doc. If you're not cool with the weed, whatever program you go, I'll deal with. But this I have very grave concerns because of their addictive abilities and properties. And so what I did, I would go make some brownies or something, and then at night I would take one of them for the first couple days, probably about the week. After that, I threw the rest away. I didn't take them anymore. So, but that is just common sense. The marijuana has been classified as, I love this handle, the most pharmacological plant on the planet because it has 400 natural chemicals. So let's take a look real quick here. There are lung risks. There could be some heart risks due to everything, but the main effects of THC, an analgesic. It relieves pain and inflammation. I've been told that numerous times. Relaxation, yeah, it gives you a little, easygoing feeling. You relax your well-being. Some people it helps them sleep. Some people it causes euphoria, and they'll get heart palpitations. Again, side effects. You might be different than the guy next to you. And of course, we all know this. You get the munchies. That's the big joke about, marijuana smokers, they don't go rob anybody for it. They go eat 7-Eleven donut shop out. That's always been the joke, that you get the munchies, your refrigerator's empty. 7-Elevens are full of people eating donuts on the shelf and all that kind of stuff, where the heroin addicts is robbing the store instead of, eating the food. But now the main effects of CBD, those were for THC. There's a lot more for the CBD, and that's why this portion, this part, the medical elements are huge. Antidepressant, it combats anxiety and depression. And that I know for a fact. I know people that smoke it specifically for that. An anticonvulsant, it suppresses seizure activity. I don't know, one of the most, and I still get tore up about this, one of the most terrifying things I remember, this terrified me because I didn't know what was going on. And everybody yelled at me because I pushed this guy off the sidewalk onto the grass. I call it doing the fish. And that's what the guy looked like. He looked like a fish out of water. He was flopping all over the ground. And he was in the driveway on the concrete. And when I saw this, nobody was doing anything. I ran over and I pushed him on the grass. And everybody yelled at me. Everybody was screaming and hollering at me. And then the ambulance driver finally got there and patted me on the back and said, "You probably helped him so he didn't injure himself more." And then everybody left me alone. He was an epileptic. I know people, MDG blogger will tell you she had seizures. She did the CBD thing and it helped her. These are testimonials. These are live, call it live experiments, call it what you want. It helps. It helps on that neurodegenerative disorders, shattered vertebrae, compression in height. So it protects the neurons in the brain. It reduces nausea and vomiting, a side effect of chemotherapy. And it combats inflammation also and pain, which, again, MDG blogger, she said, hey, look, this is what it did for me. So that's what it did for her. Also, it's an anti-tumor. It combats tumor and cancer cells. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, is what Big Pharma is afraid of. They got all the chemicals giving you cancer like glyphosate, but they're going to sell you another chemical to get rid of your cancer. Go! Come on. Pecuniary greed. This whole chemical issue in our food is pecuniary greed at the highest levels of government, society. They got shills everywhere. It is crazy. So, again, I am going to say this. THC, the primary medical applications of THC, pain, nausea, sleep apnea, stress disorders, and it also helps with the side effects of chemotherapy, multiple sclerosis, well, there's a mouthful, glaucoma, AIDS, and spinal injuries. My neurosurgeon, what did he say? It's safer than the opiates. That's what a neurosurgeon told me. Let me see. Health issues on for the CBD. Inflammation, stress, depression, anxiety, cancer, epilepsy, schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia. Any bipolar paranoid schizophrenia? Give them a joint, they mellow out, they sit in the corner, eat brownies all day. A donut, a cup of coffee, multiple sclerosis, migraines, arthritis, and the side effects of cancer treatments. Again, people get nauseous and everything, and it calms them down, and it helps them. So those are your big difference. There are lung issues. There are heart risks. You're going to find, and of course, the legal status. Everything on a federal level, ladies and gentlemen, is illegal. I am in California. It's legal in California on a state level. And maybe this is a question for our senators, our Congress people. It's election year. Whom do your elected officials represent, ladies and gentlemen? Look, they're saying right now 56% of the country has medical marijuana going on. Okay? If 56% of the country have medical marijuana and 70-some% of the people want medical marijuana, our president has even endorsed in the campaign trail, he said it's a states' rights issue, but he endorsed the medical aspect of it. Whom do your elected officials represent? Why is Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and everybody jumping all over Jeff Sessions? And I'm sorry, I got a lot of heat for this. And I'm going to say it again. Jeff Sessions is throwing it back in Congress's lap. He's doing his job. He's the Attorney General. His job is to enforce laws on the books. It's illegal on a federal level. He's throwing it in Congress's lap and saying, hey, deal with this. Don't be yelling at him. Oh, you're a bad man. You're a bad man. Write some legislation. Do your job. That's why we voted you to go to Washington, D.C. We didn't vote you to fill your pockets with our tax dollars and hustle and scam and set up fake 501c3s to take money in. No, we didn't do that. We voted you in office to represent our best interests, not the pecuniary greed of a chemical company or big corporations, manufacturers that want to manipulate the food supply. They want to manipulate the medical industry, the medicine supply chain, and all of that stuff. That's pecuniary greed, ladies and gentlemen, at its finest. It is terrible. It's disgusting. It's nauseating. Maybe we just all need to smoke a joint and it'll go away. I don't know. But I will say this again. If you're considering an alternate form of pain medication or anything, speak to your doctor. Don't just go buy a bag of weed somewhere. Speak to your doctor. This stuff is regulated now. Don't be buying stuff on the black market, because that's where the ugly stuff is going to be. I'm telling you right now. Pay a little extra vig and go to a licensed place. Go to some place that's regulated. Go to some place that's being tested so you know what you're buying. It's like your produce. Know your farmer. Know your food. It's very simple. It's very simple. We all like to eat good. And the people using medications, they want good, reliable medications. They don't want garbage. Whom do your elected officials represent? Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Sessions has thrown this mess back to Congress, just like you see the president doing, putting everything back on Congress. Don't use DACA as a bargaining chip. Don't use marijuana as a bargaining chip. Write legislation that is sound, that everybody can come together and say, okay, this is good. Let's put this in front of the president and see what he says. If the president don't like it, he comes back, he tells us why, then we go back and say, okay, well, let's fix it this way. That's how legislating works. That's how the law works. Not using 800,000 people as a bargaining chip. And that's what the Democrats are doing. I'm sorry, that's what they are doing with those people. They're holding them hostage. And to me, that's wrong. Instead of doing that, they need to all sit down at the table, get a big poor boy sandwich, and whether they get a beer, a Coke, whatever they want to get, have some lunch, talk it out, figure it out, write us some legislation. Jeff Sessions throwing it back on Congress is what he did. Very backhanded way by repealing the Cole memo. And in the article, AladayLLC.com, ladies and gentlemen, in the article, we discuss the Cole memo, how it originated, how it came about. It started in 2009, almost 10 years ago. Why hasn't Congress done something? Why didn't they do something? Whom do your elected officials represent, ladies and gentlemen? Links are in the description to all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. There's a bunch of links on the article for all the sources I used. I'm not sure. I used about 15 different sources on the article: marijuana, the Cole memo, and Jeff Sessions. And that's my take on what Jeff Sessions did. I know some of you don't like that. You want me to call him a bad man. I don't think he's doing his job, but it doesn't make him a bad man. I think he's handcuffed a little bit. But by repealing that Cole memo, he throws this issue back on Congress to write us some legislation. And I'm asking you right now, if this is something that you're passionate about, get on the phone to your legislatures and tell them about it. You tell them whom your elected officials represent. It's not Monsanto. It's not DuPont. It's not Dow Chemical. It is you. It is we, the people. We vote for them and put them in office. Without our vote, without our tax dollar, what happens? Whom do your elected officials represent? Ladies and gentlemen, it's been great. I'm getting chilly. I got to go back inside, get some warm coffee. Again, can't tell you my secret location. maybe another time. Preservation Thursday, though, we'll be talking. We're going to be talking on Preservation Thursday. Got some 501c3 information coming. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up. Be sure, because we have a scam going on that involves Home Depot, Wells Fargo, bank cards crossing state lines, people in New Jersey, people in Alabama, people in Washington, people in Ohio. It's crazy, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. You can bet on that on Preservation Thursday. Of course, Preservation Thursday brought to you by foreclosurepedia.org. Hey, up to the minute fraud reporting. Got some good stuff going on with iFast. I'm seeing some good stuff out there. So maybe we'll get sound bite, some information on iFast. Again, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the station. Picking up subscribers left and right. If you want to be a sponsor, get a hold of me. If you want to sponsor Cannabis Corner and you have a product you want to get highlighted, you want your company highlighted for Preservation Thursday, give me a call. We can talk. I work cheap, ladies and gentlemen. I work cheap. Thumbs up. Like what you hear, subscribe to the station. That's how it works. Got a big reach going on. And you know, as always, if you can help sponsor, help with a donation, hit the website, give us a shout out. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great day. Let me see something here. Can we get the Sir Walter Quintet back up? Let me see here. Let me see here. Well, let's see if we can get him back up. Oh, we don't have him back up anymore. Let's have a great day. Let's all be safe out there.